Hey, what's up out there, guys? Good to see you in the chat already. How's it going? Post-draft recap. Sasquatch NHL. My name is Mike. I'm still a little stuffed up. I mean, obviously, right? You can hear that. If anything sounds weird, just let me know in the chat. Gonna do my best. A little bit different environment tonight. We're outside by the fire pit. I thought it'd be fun to kick off summer with just a little bit of a different atmosphere for you guys. Try things out. Keep the feed interesting. Gonna turn the music down just a little bit here. And man, it's been a while since I've been live. The whole Squatch fam, we've been a little bit under the weather. But it's good to be back tonight. I'm glad to have you guys along. I do appreciate you jumping in here. We're going to talk about the Kraken draft. Oh my goodness. What a night. Noel, I see you in the chat, and Mike Burton. What's up there in Fort McMurray, Alberta, Canada? Noel, I don't know where you're listening from, but you know, if you don't want to share, that's fine too. But I'm always kind of curious where people are checking in from, and should be a fun night. Hopefully, gonna have a couple guests drop by. We'll see. Things are a little bit up in the air with that. It's summertime. Everybody's busy. I'm actually flying out of the country tomorrow. So I'm glad to be feeling better just in time for that. And man, a lot to talk about. Noel coming in from Gig Harbor, Washington, right on. Can't wait to get out to more Kraken games. Hopefully you guys are able to secure some of those tickets that were a little bit more affordable. I know there was some issues with that. The Kraken did the best. The org did the best they could to release some additional tickets, but maybe not exactly. Maybe it didn't go exactly as they planned, but anyhow. So we're gonna keep a little bit of a close eye on the Mariners score tonight too, right? Let's check right now. Blue Jays are up 1-0. So Noel mentioning that we had the best draft of any team. I'm gonna initially agree with you. I'll think about it, and then I'll probably come to a conclusion and agree with you again over and over and over, because the Kraken did amazing. I mean, we have Shane Wright on our team. Shane Wright. Okay? So that's going to be pretty fun. Matty Beniers up the middle, Shane Wright. For many years to come, we've got a lot of wealth at the center position. So we're going to talk a little bit about it. We're going to keep going here, and should be a fun night. So we've let it all sink in a little bit. I would love to hear how you guys thought things progressed through the draft. Okay, I'm also potentially, if I can get you guys to hit that like button, that would be huge. And if I can get to like 10 or 15 likes, I may just jump into the pool at the end of the stream. So if you want to see that, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, that's great too. We do a lot of different fun things over here. Try to do recaps. I do rapid reaction during the season, and I love chatting with you guys, engaging. It's a lot of fun for me to do this, and going to keep it going. So keep things interesting. Hit that like button, and if I get to like 10 or 15, I'll jump in the pool. I got to keep an eye on my messages here too, because I was trying to line things up to get a couple people stopping by, but like I said, we'll see what happens. So let's talk a little bit about the draft, right? We got a lot of things to go through. We got the draft rundown, so I want to kind of go through each guy that we picked. I want to talk a little bit about the schedule. Maybe hear from you guys. What are going to be your highlights on the schedule? What are the ones that you circled? I know I jokingly circled every game and posted that on Twitter, but there are some games specifically that I'm looking forward to. And then obviously we've got free agency coming. We've got development camp coming. So off season is busy, very busy, even though it feels like it should slow down. It actually speeds up. That's when a lot of things get done, and teams make a lot of changes and kind of create their structure and go forward into the future. So we're going to talk about all that stuff. Got a couple of reminders. I'm going to give you my thoughts, I think, on, where we're going to go from here, how the team's going to form, but I don't want to be too long tonight. Just wanted to pop in. It's good to get on the live stream and talk to you guys. Let's take a look here, see what you guys are saying. Go. Oh, Noel saying, I hope you would do a draft recap. Always love your insights. So I appreciate that. And Mike, thanks for jumping in again. all the way up there, Fort McMurray, Alberta, Canada. We got to get you down here for a game. Nolson, the only thing that concerns me is we did not get a lot on defense, which was a weak spot last season, but free agency might address that. And I kind of feel the same way. So my initial thoughts coming out of the draft were obviously I didn't think we were going to get Shane Wright up front. I thought that Montreal was going to take him first, and then we were going to get Simon Nemec and go from there. But I kind of agree. I think we're going to have to bolster the defense a little bit, but as we just saw with Colorado, they do have a pretty solid defense and some pretty amazing talent on that back end, but you really do think of them as an offensive team, so you can cover up a lot with that. But yeah, I would definitely agree. We had a lot of gaffes defensively last year, so I think that may be an area that they're going to try to address through free agency, or at least bolster it just a little bit. So what's up, Will? Thanks for joining in the chat. We should have brought marshmallows. Absolutely. I was just saying, Will, if you didn't make it in time, trying to get to about 10 or 15 likes, and if we get there, I'm going to probably jump in the pool at the end of the stream, so stick around for that, because that might be kind of fun. And, if you want to roast a marshmallow, go for it. Sounds good to me. I would put some Reese's peanut butter cups on your graham crackers if you've never done that. That's pretty good too. So Mike's in, I'd love to come down to a Kraken game. We definitely got to get you down here and trying to pop you guys up on the chat here. Like I said, this is a little bit of a different stream, so I'm trying to get adjusted to the surroundings and my setup. I had to move it all outside. So, I was just trying to get dug in a little bit for summer and kind of create that campfire vibe for you guys. And Mike also saying, I definitely wasn't expecting to get right, but Christmas came early. Way early. It was Christmas in July for the Kraken. Worked out pretty good. Will again saying, we should have brought the marshmallows. For sure, dude. I'm going to probably do some s'mores after this. I'm packing up to head overseas. Not overseas, just out of the country tomorrow. So pretty busy over here. Noel mentioning earlier we had the best draft of any team. Kind of highlighting that. I completely agree. It was a night to remember. That's one of those drafts you're going to look back on, 5-10 years from now and just Shane Wright. I still can't believe it. Right? I had honestly didn't think that's who we were going to get straight out of the gate. So let's talk a little bit about these picks. Will, again, mentioning that we definitely need a few more defensemen. I agree 100%. We're going to have to bolster the D. We will see some improvement, I think, structurally, too, and guys are going to be more used to each other. I think the goaltending is going to settle and be a little bit better, but I do worry that Gru is going to have a little bit too much workload this year with Chris Drieger going down onto IR for pretty much, 6 months of the season. So we may be bringing up Joey. We'll see. That's a lot to put on his shoulders early. But I would expect them to bring in potentially a UFA at goal just to solidify that and not throw all the weight onto Joey's shoulders. And then I think they probably need to address something on the D. But I'm really excited to see Matty Beniers, Shane Wright, Yanni Gourde, the kind of the veteran leader of that core. I think the boys over at the Kraken Pod have mentioned they would really like to see Yanni Gourde be the next captain. I would be cool with that. I think he's a great leader and people love him. Just going to have to see who grabs the reins on the leadership role and who goes forward. So Noel saying, I about passed out when we got right. Okay, so here's how it went for me. I was trying to play it cool, and then when Gary Bettman came out and he announced, because I knew, okay, all of a sudden Shane Wright's available at 4, we're going to take him, and then Bettman came out and announced there was going to be a trade. I think I tweeted that I passed out. It kind of felt like that because I thought that the Kraken were going to pass up on Shane Wright and trade back, and I was like, no, please don't do that. But I'm really glad that's who they ended up picking. Okay, so let's recap the draft picks real fast here. I don't have a ton of crazy fancy graphics tonight. I just kind of wanted to jump in here and talk to you guys and talk about the draft, and talk about the summer and going forward. So let's look at this draft list real quick here. We got obviously Shane Wright up front, the first pick, and then we got Jagger Fergus, a pretty good steal at 35 there in the second round. Another amazing pick that just kind of fell into our lap. I know there's concerns about his size. He's only 150 pounds, but he's got some good moves, and the kid can play. So I have a problem with smaller guys. You know, Johnny Gaudreau, again, potentially a guy we're going to target in free agency. I'm of the opinion that we probably shouldn't, but we'll see what happens there. We can talk about some of the other free agents that are off the board now here in just a little bit, but let's keep going through the draft picks first. And then we got to our third pick there at 49, Yanni Nyman. Maybe I'm not saying that. I might have to go back and do another pronunciation guide for some of these as we get a little deeper. That was the Kraken's third pick at 49 there. He is a right wing from Finland, 6'4", pretty big kid there, 6'4", 217. And so the next pick was a little bit of a surprise, I think, overall. They took the goalie, Nicholas Kakko, if I'm saying that right. You know, correct me in the comments. Sorry, I'm not a linguistics and phonetics expert. Do the best I can. Some of these guys, I was a little bit, you know, kind of digging for how to say their names before the stream here, but only had so much time tonight. And then David Goyette, I think this is also a pretty good steal. Center from Canada, 5'10", 175. Everything I've heard and read, watched a few highlight videos after we picked this guy up. He looks like he could be, you know, high ceiling type of player. Really excited about that pick too. See what you guys are saying. Noel saying Gord being captain is a must in my opinion. Team and fans love him. Yeah, and see, that's a big part of it too. Like when you have the fan buy-in, that's pretty big. But you know, it's also got to be there on the leadership side, the locker room side of things. You know, community outreach, all that stuff is, you know, part of being a captain. You want to see that. Definitely part of the equation. Mike saying after the season was over, the future looked bright. And I'm glad I wasn't wrong. Yeah, definitely bright. And it just got a lot brighter. It's it feels like, you know, maybe we just had a little flashlight. We kind of had it on and we had a little path forward. And now it feels like we've got this huge spotlight, this beam. Even though it did kind of feel like the professional analysts glossed over the pick a little bit. You know, Juraj Slavkovsky got kind of the glitz and glamour, as he should, because he was pick number 1. But I don't know. I felt like maybe the analysts, they didn't give Shane Wright his due after they have been all over covering him and hyping him up for the last 2 to 3 years. So that was kind of interesting. But Will mentioning he saw Jagger Fergus play in the WHL, and glad to have him on board. So I have not been able to get to as many Thunderbirds games as we used to go to, right? Life, busy schedule, more Kraken games, et cetera, et cetera. So I didn't get to go in and see Jagger at all. So I'm kind of excited to hear your guys' opinions on him. I'm trying to do my best watching some of the scouting videos. The guys over at ECH, they do a great job with their scouting videos, so check them out. Obviously, you guys are probably aware of their channel, but I like to, you know, throw the support out there. Everybody in this Kraken community, they're doing an amazing job. We've got some really good coverage, and like I said, it's fun for me to kind of be a small part of that, but yeah, their scouting videos are top-notch, so shout out to those guys. Mike saying, I think your wife has done a better job pronouncing. Yeah, she's definitely the analytics and probably pronunciation expert in the family, although I'm the guy that can spell. She can't spell, but she can pronounce things, so that's kind of interesting. Okay, so let's keep going here. So where were we at? The fourth pick, Nicholas Kakko. We had David Goyette, and then we get to Ty Nelson. Great looking hat. That was the first defenseman that the Kraken took. You know, again, we can go through, look at his. Go forward here just a little bit. 5'10", 199 out of the OHL, North Bay, and again, another high ceiling type defender. Not a huge guy, but obviously Ron Francis and the scouting team, they've kind of got a physique and a player profile that they are targeting, and pretty interesting stuff. Take a quick look here. Sorry. Trying to keep up with the messages too. Okay, so kind of going into the back half of the Kraken picks here, we had Ben McDonald, center out of the U.S., 6 foot 180. So you like to see the size there at center. He can cover the ice real well. Got a little bit longer reach when those guys are taller like that. Tyson, so there's another tricky one, and I probably should have done my homework. Tyson Jugnoth. Not sure about that. That was the second defender we took out of Canada. Again, kind of that same stature, 5'11", 150, a little bit smaller defender. So maybe they're looking for that agility, that speed back on the blue line, puck movers. Just kind of, like I said, that profile that they're trying to identify and build to create that identity back on the blue line. And then the last three picks, all centers. Again, Tucker Robertson from Canada. You had Barrett Hall from the U.S., and Kyle Jackson. Those guys, 6'2", 191. Kyle Jackson, he's a pretty big dude. Another guy out of North Bay in the OHL. So those are all the Kraken picks. And again, I'm going to kind of lean on you guys a little bit. Sounds like Will has watched a lot of these guys out of the WHL. That's right. You mentioned that they traded up for Ben McDonald. So the Kraken did come in with 12 picks, and they ended up just going with, they did that trade up, and they ended up with a total of 11 picks. So still a pretty good night overall. Will also mention that was the only trade of the night, which I was a little bit surprised about. I thought they might juggle some of those second rounders around just a little bit and maneuver, but I think what I'm starting to realize is that Ron Francis has a plan, and his team and his scouts, and he really sticks to that plan. I don't see much deviation. I don't see him getting real excited or maybe tempted by other GMs or situations. It just felt like they really had a plan. They stuck to it, and the best part is, again, Shane Wright just kind of fell into our laps. I'm not exactly sure. I know why Arizona took Logan Cooley. He kind of fits their profile, and many people they predicted that would happen if Slafkovsky went first. But I still feel like if I'm Arizona and the things that have happened in that organization, where you're going, you're trying to get a stadium built and things like that, I just feel like, man, why wouldn't you take Shane Wright, the guy that has been hyped over and over and over? But Michael mentioning earlier that he jumped out of his chair. I'm pretty sure I did that twice, maybe 3 times. Pretty fun. That draft was, I'm never going to forget that draft. I know the first year it was pretty awesome to pick up Matty Beniers. He was, ecstatic to come out and be one of the first Kraken, or be the first Kraken ever drafted. But this one just felt different. That now that the team is a little bit more established, we've got coaches, we've got a roster, we've got a building that we've been to, and we kind of understand how things work. It just felt different this year, and it felt really cool to see a guy that I don't think should have been there come to Seattle now and be another cornerstone that we can build around. Pretty cool stuff. Noel mentioning that Ron definitely appears to have a solid plan. I finally fully bought into it after the draft. And, again, I'll reemphasize that and agree. I think the thing I am worried about is the defense. And we talked about this, coming into the stream a little bit. And I think they are going to need to kind of solidify what's going on back there, right? So let's look at the Kraken center depth and also just kind of our roster in general. But, really our main guys back on the blue line. You've got Alexiak, you've got Vince Dunn, and they've played pretty. I kind of wanted to see more out of Alexiak this last year, but that's. I think it's tough in an expansion year as a defender. You've got a lot to sort out, a lot of things to adjust to, a lot of just new things in general. So, oh, you know what? I'm hearing some noise over here. What's? Uh-oh, hold on just a minute. We might have a little bit of a drop in here. Let's see who this is. Too late, huh? I had a different name queued up, but we're gonna bring in oh, look who it is. Mr. Ty Jacobs, Sea Kraken dude. What's up, man?
How's it going?
Oh, pretty good. Just getting better from feeling like pretty much crap for the last 2 weeks.
Oh, I need to like the stream because I heard you're jumping in the pool.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. If I get to maybe I'll do it anyways, just for the hell of it. It's good content, right?
Yeah.
I was saying if I get to 10 or 15, I'll jump in there and that'll be like the symbolic Seattle Kraken making their splash into free agency. What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Okay, so Ty, before we get too far here, I was trying to kind of go through the draft picks. I want to hear your holy reaction to Shane Wright being a Seattle Kraken.
Oh man. So yeah, I mean, we all probably had a very similar reaction, but you start number one and you're like, what just happened? Okay, this is how it's going. Like this whole draft has now changed. Hey, Will, how's it going? And then we go into 2 and it's like, wait a minute. And then 3, and it's like, wait a minute. And then out comes Gary Bettman and he's like, we have trades. And I was like, no, Ron, what have you done? What have you done, Ron? And then I hear him say, oh, there's 2 trades. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. And then they go through the trades and then Seattle's on the clock. And I'm just like, oh, but when that happened, my heart sunk. I was like, are you kidding me? You can't mess this up. There's no way. And we didn't mess it up. So the best one I've heard so far is 3 wrongs makes a right for Seattle. So I like
yes.
it. Let's go.
I saw the guys over at ECH put out some new merch.
Yeah.
And that was really clever. Again, shout out to those guys. Big fan and supporter. I know we do similar things, but love those guys. We are lucky to have them and all the groups and things we've got going in the Kraken community here. It's pretty cool to be a part of it, and it's building. And people are getting more excited. And now we've got Shane Wright and Matty Beniers, and so
yeah.
Now I know there's some question. I don't think in my mind. I don't think Shane Wright is not playing for the Kraken this fall, but I know there's some question about that. People talk about, well, is he ready? I just don't. I don't think that he's a go back to the OHL for a year or wherever he would end up. But maybe what are your thoughts on that? Are we going to see him in the Kraken sweater this fall for sure? Lock it in, or are you wavering on that?
I'd be pretty surprised if we didn't at this point. Throughout the whole leading up, to the draft, everybody was kind of talking about there's maybe 1 or 2 players that are maybe, NHL ready. And his name was always part of that conversation. So, I mean, you kind of have to look at our center depth that we have right now. If you bring in, I'm assuming Beniers is probably going to be 1C and just see how he does. And then you kind of have that 2C, 3C, and 4C where you have to balance in Gord and Wenberg and now potentially Shane Wright. So I don't necessarily want to see him down 4th line minutes, get 9 minutes a game or something like that. I'd rather kind of see him in that 3rd C position, and maybe I don't know. I'll probably put Gord at 2, just because I haven't seen much from Wenberg, but he would be dominant as a 4th line C. So I feel like it could work out. I don't really see him going down to OHL. Maybe if something crazy happens in development camp where we learn something that maybe some of these other teams picked up on, which I don't think is actually there. But I know you've probably heard some of the satire and stuff floating around about his attitude and all this stuff. So
I know.
I don't know.
I feel like a guy that is scrutinized for years now, right? This isn't just the last 6 months or 9 months or 12 months. This is 2-3 years going back now where we've been talking about Shane Wright coming out as the number 1 pick, right? So
Yeah.
I just feel like it's an exercise in futility at times. And, as an engineer, sometimes you start tinkering with things that don't need to be fixed, and you start to find problems that aren't maybe problems, and you break things on your own by doing that, if that makes sense. But let's talk about, you mentioned our center depth. I kind of want to go through that. That was on my list too, because
I'm going to spoil everything right off the get-go.
Oh, yeah. Did some news just break?
Oh, no. I was just...
Oh, okay. So
other topics you want to cover, and I'm just dropping them right off the get-go.
No, this is good. It's because, great minds think alike. So, and some of these guys are probably not going to be back, especially now since we're so much wealth. We have so much more wealth at the center position. But we'll kind of start with the fringe names: Carson Kuhlman, Victor Rask. Right. So I would be very, very, very surprised if Victor Rask is back. Kuhlman now is. I liked what I saw from him, but I feel like maybe this is going to kind of push him out. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, Coleman, he's Mr. work ethic. You see him, he has a very similar speed and kind of forecheck ability that we love Yanni Gourde having.
Right.
But I don't know. Everything I heard from the coaches with the media and everything like that, it was nothing but praise. I think the staff likes him. The team likes him. The fans like him. Like, I would be kind of surprised to not see him around, but I mean, you never know when we start adding this many forwards in the draft.
So, real quick, Mariners update, bottom of 7, and they're up 2-1. So I promised at the beginning of the stream we would keep the Mariners fans apprised if they're watching. Anyways, so okay, so sorry to derail there. It popped up on my phone. Okay, so kind of underneath of that, right? We're not going to talk about Beniers. He's obviously, he's going to be locked in at some point here. We've got technically Sheahan is a center, Morgan Geekie, Jaden Schwartz, Ryan Donato, another name. I talked about this a little bit, and I saw Brandon, 32 crew captain, talk about this. Maybe Donato now, after a pretty good year, and it felt like he was a really good fit. Maybe, is he not going to be back? That kind of concerns me a little bit. I don't know. But what do you think of there? So we got Sheahan, Geekie. Geekie's, he's a younger guy. Schwartz and Donato, right?
So I think Schwartz is going to be the same question mark as when we did the draft the first time and we selected him. His ability to stay healthy is fairly questionable. So I would have someone ready to take, his spot when he decides to go down. I think we got like I want to say it was like 20 or 30 games out of him all last season. Yeah. So when he's in the lineup, he's a contributor, but poof. You also have to think about, I think it was like wrist, yeah. But we also have Brandon Tanev coming back. I don't know if you guys remember that guy.
True. I mean, he usually plays on the wing though, right?
Yeah.
But still,
you can move centers to wings fairly.
Right.
Fairly
yeah,
easy.
that's the other thing to think about. Like maybe you start to see some chemistry between certain guys, and I mean, I don't know. And of course, then kind of cap this off. We've got Alex Winberg, amazing hair, and Yanni Gourde, probably the next Kraken captain if I'm picking him. But
that's a tricky one. Is what's fun.
Maybe Winberg is a trade piece. I've heard that a little bit, but I'd be surprised. I mean, I don't know.
If he did more last season, I could see him have some trade value, but I don't know. I think he's kind of stuck with us. And Will calling out Brandon Tanev Turbo. Like, in case you forgot, he does play for the Kraken and he's coming back. So I'm very excited to see him in the lineup.
I can't wait. Can you imagine the ovation he's going to get when, again, maybe a candidate for captain, but we'll see, right? I'm going to pop up a couple more comments here because I want to keep up. We had earlier Noel Webster from Gig Harbor. You mentioned Wright had every right to stare down the Habs. Glad he will be playing with a chip on his shoulder, and you cannot underestimate that, right? Like that is a huge deal. As maybe in a different context professionally, I've been through that where maybe you thought you were valued one way, and then it ends up another way, and you just want to dig in and work even harder because that happens. So definitely can't minimize that type of stuff, right?
And the tricky one for that, for me, is if you watch the interview with Ron post, day one, he talks about how he was excited and he's ready to go. And he never said anything about having a chip. He was just focused on, getting better and coming into the system and growing as a player.
Yeah.
But that's not as exciting for, media and stuff like that. So, I mean, maybe he
Right.
did, maybe he does have, a little bit of attitude and he's pissed off. But from what I've heard about his past, and this guy's a captain. Most of your captains are quite poised, more of your mature individuals at that level.
Yeah.
I could see him using it as an advantage, but I don't know necessarily that it's going to be that big in his mind.
Yeah,
Just my thought.
you would hope it doesn't grow into, an
Mhm.
actual like enigma in his brain that is a problem, because then it's definitely not a healthy chip on the
No.
shoulder that you can channel and use. But like even going back to the like Richard Sherman and those guys that came
Mhm.
through the LOB, like that's the mentality that wins championships, right? So pretty amazing. So Jim C just checked in, our buddy from Kraken Fancast. What's up, Jim? Good to have you along. I know you're busy. Mentioned to me in the background he's working OT tonight. Got to make the money and pay the bills, right? I totally get it. I'm going to be doing the same thing tomorrow. I'm flying out, and great to have you along, Jim. If you want to post just your thoughts about the draft, the comments, or in the comments, I'll pop them up. We can kind of talk as we go here. But Ty, next thing I kind of wanted to talk about.
Who's going to be the captain?
No, I think that's. I know that's big. That's a big thing for people, but it's really.
What's the mascot going to be?
Also a great topic. I mean, these are good.
We forgot about that.
Ty's going to be my topic writer for the next stream that I do here.
What stirs the pot the most? Let's go.
I kind of just wanted to quickly run through a couple of the headlines that broke today. We've got, let's see here. Well, and this wasn't today, but as far as free agency goes,
signing.
Yeah, Philip Forsberg. I thought, that was a pretty team-friendly deal. Mm-hmm. He definitely could have got more open market. So good on, the Predators and Philip Forsberg. They found something that worked. Are you bummed out that he's not going to be a Kraken, or do you think maybe the timing is too early for a player like that? And maybe the Johnny Gaudreau type, too. Let's kind of talk about that.
There's a part of me, someone knows, like, mascot? What's that?
Right.
So a lot of me wants to say, yeah, let's go, let's, build. But I think we need, let's get our feet under us. Let's have, a 500 season, be competitive, have some good hockey, and then worry about your big free agencies. I wouldn't, as much as Ron kind of talked about, I'm going in with all these drafts and I don't want to use them. We've seen him use pretty much all of them. So that player, but I didn't also expect, he probably didn't expect to get Shane Wright. So there's a little bit difference there. But as far as
what a good feeling that had to be as a GM too, just like Shane Wright. Yeah.
Like, how do you keep your bearing sitting at the table? Like, you did what? You picked who?
Well, and that's great because nobody can ever question, like, oh, well, why did they take Shane?
Yeah.
Well, why wouldn't you? So it's like a win-win. But
yeah, if you can't tell, that is still like front of my mind. We have Shane Wright. But no, as far as free agency, when I saw like Letang kind of come off the board, and then Philip Forsberg's out there, Johnny Gaudreau's out there. I've kind of heard some rumors about like what he's asking for and stuff like that. So I don't know that it's necessarily a good thing for us. I mean, he is Johnny Hockey. He's a fantastic player, but I don't know that the team is ready for someone like that. I would rather continue the course. Let's have, a better season, a more successful season with the pieces we have and the core that we have. Get Beniers, get Shane Wright some ice time, some NHL level play, let, his mentors around him build those guys up. And then next year, maybe in free agency, look for that big acquisition or something like that. I don't know. If there's some good stuff out there that are lower level, sure, let's do it. But I don't want to go and, redo Philip Grubauer.
I think, well, okay, hold on.
Poke the bear.
There's a lot of Gru fans out there. We haven't seen his best stuff yet.
I'm an Avs fan, dude. I grew up an Avalanche fan. I love Grubauer. And then I'm just like, who is this guy? That's not him.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, the D playing in front of him wasn't great. So that kind of leads into, I'm with you on this. I don't really want to make the huge splash. I would rather I'll make the huge splash in the pool at the end of the stream. I don't want Ron Francis to go drop a 8-year, 9.5 mil AAV on Johnny Gaudreau. Like I love Johnny Gaudreau, but the timing to me just doesn't feel right. Like we're just not there yet. You've got a lot of young guys that can develop, even the guys that are not draft picks per se, right? Like so Alexiak, Vince Dunn. I definitely think these guys can develop their game and really turn into all-star professionals as we go here, and complement with the type of player that they're targeting and the profile that they want to fill out on the blue line. So my thoughts on this are, let's not make the huge splash. I know it would be great. I feel like then you're putting the cart in front of the horse a little bit too much. We can be patient, right? Like it would be great to make the playoffs, but we're not there yet. So just like you said, let them develop this year, and then maybe next year, then you make a splash. See what you'd need, right? I don't think we even really know what we need right now. Personally, I know our defense was not great. I know our power play was terrible.
What power play?
Right? Yeah, exactly.
The bathroom break?
That's when you and I meet down at the rum bar. Right?
Yeah. Let's go.
So I think you just kind of have to let these things play out. I know Seattle's a market where we've been told to be patient with a lot of teams over and over through the years. Mariners, one of those teams, Seahawks, and they're not going to rebuild. Let's see here. Speaking of the Mariners, still 2-1, middle of the 8th. Okay, but yeah, I think I'm with you. I want the slow burn, the slow sustainability, build it up as we go. I think that's just my vibe on it. Noel kind of mentioning the same thing. Said I would stay the course, build the team from within. Will kind of echoing this. Patiently building the team is the way. I'm glad Ron's in charge instead of me, because I'd be too tempted to splurge on the big name free agent. I know it's tough because you see these names, and then you've seen Johnny Gaudreau. He went through that playoff run in this season, and I think he had a career year, right? 110 plus points, just amazing stuff from him. But it is very tempting to try to bring these guys in, and I just think it's too early. I'd be okay with it if they do end up doing it, but an 8-year deal for a guy just feels very foreign to me in year 2 of expansion. Yeah, no, I'm 100% on the same boat. Look at Colorado 5 years ago and see what they just did. Like, slow build works. It's worked more than obviously Colorado. It's worked for many, many teams. And they were legit terrible just years ago. Mm-hmm. I remember watching that team just, and they had to go through playoff runs where they lost and learn from that. And that's just part of the process too. Like it's probably going to happen in Seattle at some point. We're going to make the playoffs, and we're going to get our hearts broken. But
I was not ready for playoff hockey if Kraken went this year.
No. Okay, so another one, Nichushkin off the table. That was a couple days ago. Another one that broke today, Braden Holtby apparently might retire, career over. Kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. And I think that's pretty much it as far as major headlines I have right now. The situation with Kirill the Thrill, I don't even really know what's going on with that. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, he's been denied entry twice, right? I think it's
bizarre. It's bizarre. The whole thing is crazy. And I don't, I try not to get into politics on my streams at all, but wow, pretty crazy stuff starting to spill over into sports world a little bit. Michael, exactly that comment right there. We have a chance to do this right and show the league how it's done. Yeah, definitely. And he says no rush. And I'll re-highlight that first comment there. And we're seeing this in Vegas a little bit now too, right? So they had that quick, holy crap, we're amazing, and now they're having to deal with a lot of issues with contracts. They're cap strapped. Just fired the coach. Brought in Bruce Cassidy.
Vegas kind of ruined our whole ability to make acquire picks and stuff through the draft and all that. So we had to wait until now and free agency. And here we go. So now we kind of get to start rolling and doing the fun GM stuff. So far, happy with what Ron's doing. I'm not going to sit here and say like I could do it any better.
Well, I mean, I know you wouldn't. There is a lot of people that I think would. That I see some of the stuff on Twitter, and I don't really get onto Facebook a whole lot, but I do read some of the stuff on there, and I'm just like,
I kind of bailed out of the Facebook group because it's always it's some crazy satire post about, I mean, the most recent one is Shane Wright's pissed and he's going to seek vengeance. And from what I've seen, even before like what just happened,
yeah,
he's very mature, very poised. Like he knows what he's doing. He's got a goal set and he's going after it. He spent this whole season working on his two-way game instead of lighting a lamp like crazy, like he did the season before. Like he's developing. He's got his target set where he wants to be and what he wants to do, and he's going after it. So
yeah,
I think he's a more mature player and a more mature person than some people maybe give him credit for.
Well, in this whole process of going through a draft and meeting with executives and, going to the scouting combines and proving your worth and trying to, dress the right way, say the right things, et cetera, et cetera. And then you've got all of a sudden the media scrutiny and dealing with press conferences and people taking pictures of you, and, at a level that has probably never happened before. It's happened, but this just ratchets it all the way up. So it's a lot to deal with. I don't think we talk enough about it.
He's a kid.
Yeah,
like,
really.
Imagine dealing with that at 18 years old. Like,
no, I mean, I remember
my mind.
I kind of remember what I was doing at 18 years old. At 18 years, and I'm just. Let's say I'm glad there was no social media and things like that when I was that age. It was just kind of starting to be a thing. But I think we had Napster was the big thing back then.
Napster and we could
definitely
go on that rant and date ourselves a little bit.
Oh yes, God, so old. We're wise. That's what I would like to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've kind of covered your feelings on the draft. What would you say was the biggest steal for the Kraken?
I mean, Shane Wright. That was the biggest steal,
sorry.
But like that
maybe,
was.
I didn't phrase that right. What would be kind of like your what's the right way to say this? Just kind of like your dark horse pick. Like obviously, okay, Shane Wright fell to us. We're gonna take that. But like after that, what was kind of your like? Oh, that's a really good value. Just a guy that you like that you saw maybe in the WHL.
Pick.
You watched a lot of WHL teams too, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I grew up watching WHL. I have none of you was down there. Never me. No.
I bought every single album.
Apple Music, that's you pay for it, yeah. But living in Portland, I'm going to the Winterhawks games, and then I get to give all my Seattle buddies a bunch of crap. And growing up in Spokane, I went to tons of Chiefs games, stuff like that. So watching WHL is fun, and then actually seeing, maybe I'll be nice and give the Thunderbirds a little nod here, but they had 2 players go first round, and that's pretty awesome. It's cool to see those WHL names, get drafted and begin that next step, because you're familiar with them. You've seen these guys play live, and you've seen them make mistakes. You've seen them do awesome things, and they're learning. It's awesome. So as far as Seattle, what is it? Jaeger Fickus, I think is his name is.
Yeah. So you need to go watch my pronunciation guide, Ty.
Yeah.
Jagger Fergus.
Jagger Fergus. There you go.
Yeah. The redheaded beauty.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Watching some of his highlights and kind of where he's been doing, I think he might surprise a few people.
Yeah, I think the only concern there was size. I think that's why they were saying he slipped a little bit out of the Moose Jaw Warriors team there in the WHL. 151 pounds, 5'10". But the kid, I mean, I've watched like 2 or 3 of his highlight videos now, and wow, it's pretty impressive. I'm wishing that I had made it to more WHL games the last couple of years to try to catch that kid playing, but Moose Jaw go ahead.
Yeah, they come down here. I don't remember specifically seeing Moose Jaw though this season, but I've seen them in the past for sure.
Yeah.
You grow, man. You get into this, professional environment, even AHL environment, and you have a nutritionist and you have a strength coach, and you have all of a sudden you'll see like I think Chet Holmgren will be a kind of a funny example. coming from Gonzaga, another Washington team going into pro, like the
Yeah.
dude is skin and bone, this little scrawny guy, and then all of a sudden he's going to be massively changing over the next couple of years. So I would expect to see the same thing. That skill doesn't necessarily go away with added strength and size. So I think he's got good potential. He's got fantastic dark horse potential because there was a lot of people dismissing him on size. So.
Yeah. And then you kind of go down the list. I think that the surprise, kind of maybe the head scratcher, if you will, was the goaltender they took, Nicholas Kakko.
His lid's already ready to go, though.
Coca?
It looks like a Kraken helmet.
Perfect. He's 6'3", 184.
Yeah,
Finland. I mean, you've seen a lot of goalies come out of Finland. They're like a goalie factory. So they saw something they liked. Obviously, they took it. But am I right? It seemed like they were saying, okay, kind of a head scratcher, a little bit there, maybe a reach, but they went for it.
Kind of what I understood is they saw something that they liked, and you got to also take into consideration we're essentially filling an entire AHL roster right now as well. So
yeah,
with our goalie concerns that we have right now, with Driggs going down, why not build it a little bit? And I think the idea is to have 5 just in case. Not that I want to bring up Joey Decord and is he NHL ready, but I think that is
yeah, you do. You definitely want to talk about that. I did just get a message from Brandon over at 32 Crew there. He might jump on. We'll see. I know he's, again, very busy guy, and I think he's actually flying out of the U.S. here soon too. But if he hops on, we can keep this going. Did have a couple more comments here. Jim saying, with the path Ronnie is on, I don't want to get into anything above a 6-year term, 6 to 7.5, and early in the process. I don't believe it's needed. And yeah, it sounds like Ty and I are kind of on the same page. I just feel like it would be really exciting, to jump into that free agency pool. But
they can see him, yeah.
Yeah, the timing just doesn't feel right. So, and then Will saying, I like to stake in the flyer on the goalie in the second round, potential diamond in the rough, and that's the kind of move you can make when you have 4 second rounders. And that's a great point, right? Like,
yeah.
Why not? Would you rather, and I was saying this to another buddy, I was like, drafts, when you've got a wealth of picks, you can just play it safe the whole time, but what's the fun in that? You may as well swing for the fences on a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they will fail miserably, and you move on, and maybe they will just completely catch fire and blow you away. I don't know. It makes sense to me. You're more conservative when you have fewer picks. When you have a wealth of picks, you got to go big, right?
100% agree. And I think with Coachella being built up, I mean, you really don't have much to lose there. You take a couple dart throws and you see what happens. And if you find that diamond in the rough, pays major dividends down the road. I see Brandon is on here. I think everybody can see him kind of up above us here.
Just jump in here?
Right there.
Let's see if
he's got a little screen. Here. We're going to put your technology skills to the test.
I know, this is on the fly too, right? Let's see if we, can we do a split screen?
You can split me. I don't necessarily need video.
You can do like a gallery view here.
There we go.
Expand it up a little bit.
Oh, so you got the climate pledge.
Can you hear us, Brandon?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Ty was just talking about how he's very excited to discuss the Joey Decord situation, and maybe that's a great place to start. I do want to get obviously your initial reaction to the craziness that went down, but let's jump into it. Goalie situation. Are we going to bolster through free agency, or is Joey going to be the backup? What are you thinking?
I think Ron said they're definitely going to bring in competition, obviously. And I don't know. I'm a fan of Joey. I think, he got the short end of the stick a lot last year, flying in, like a night before a game he would play or the same day he would play. So I don't think that was fair at all. But
yeah, that was rough on the road and everything, right?
Oh yeah. That's crazy. But
I think Ty kind of pointed that out on one of the streams. He was commenting, And I was like, I don't have a problem throwing a kid in there, but when you do it on the road, that is a little bit of a tough situation.
Oh yeah, and I think, I don't know, goalies, they need that confidence, and I still think he'll start the season as backing up Gruby, but he may not finish the season doing that. But
Okay.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, with the Braden Holtby news today about his career might be over, I know that was a name that was floating around as a potential guy to bring in. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Saw Husso made a move also.
Yep.
Got a couple people saying, "What's up, Captain? What's up, Brandon?"
What's up, everyone?
I know you're busy, right? You're like headed out of the country here soon. I don't know if you want or can talk about that a whole lot, but definitely
It's all good.
on the plate, right? So it's stuff you got to deal with. And you know what? I just got a message from Zoom telling me I've got 10 minutes left unless I upgrade. So I'm going to upgrade here real fast. Let's do that. Because that could be a disaster.
Right.
You know, the other thing I could do is I could actually re-invite you to my other meeting room, but I don't know if you guys are willing to do that. But
Yeah, I think we used your wife's last time, right?
yeah, we did, because she's a pro and I'm like an amateur over here with the Zoom stuff. She's a professional. But yeah, we'll just tell you what, we'll run out the clock, and if you want to hop back on, I can do that. It would take just a matter a couple minutes, but we'll just keep going here. I want to get your thoughts. I want to hear, Brandon, your initial reaction on Shane Wright falling to 4 and Seattle taking him.
I mean, so going into the draft, I think everyone, was just thinking defense. I mean, that was
right?
Obviously the team needs help everywhere, but just the way, the rankings were or whatever, we just, automatically assumed that defense was going to be the pick there at number 4. And then maybe I remember like a couple of days before the draft, we started seeing mock drafts where Shane could potentially fall to us. And a lot of people were like, nah, there's no way. Yeah. I didn't think at all that it would happen, but I mean, the dominoes fell that way. And I think Ron and the rest of the team, they probably didn't have any discussion about it. He went up there quickly, said it, and got off the stage. So,
yeah, I
mean, it was crazy.
So
when they announced the trades, how did you feel?
Oh man, I thought like my stomach started to like hurt. I was like, there's no way they went back in this. Like, and I think a lot of other people were saying that too. Like when I saw it, on the screen behind the commissioner trade or whatever, like, oh my God, like what? It's like, are you serious?
Yeah.
But yeah, crazy.
When I heard Slavkovsky, I'm still struggling with that. When I heard that name go, I knew it was going to turn into a blender, right? And it felt like slow motion after that point where, you're like, well, okay. After that first pick, you're like, okay, well, it could happen. Right. And then the second pick comes through, and you're like, oh, this is getting real. And then the third pick, right? Mm-hmm. And then you're just like, oh my God. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
And after Nemec went, or Nemec, or however you say his name.
Yeah.
It was either Cooley or Wright. And I mean, obviously I would have been happy with either one of those guys, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
As soon as, Cooley went third, I was like, okay, this is it. Like, there's no debate, like no discussion, like just go do it.
Yeah. Just go take. And I was telling Ty before you jumped on here, I was like, it's a no brainer. And why would you? Oh, thank you. My executive producer just gave me the login to her. Huh? Oh, I'm not.
Yeah, don't show it.
No, I'm not going to show it. Yeah. What's that? No, it's backwards. There we go. Thank you.
I just screen captured that, just so you know.
We'll blur it out in the replay.
Right?
Yeah. So let's see here. Let's get to a good, maybe just kind of a quick little 5-minute break. I don't want to, I know it's tight on timing, but let me just I'll dump you guys off here, and I'll resend the invite. We can jump right back on. Does that sound good?
Yep, sounds good.
All right, I'll send it right over, you guys. Thanks. Okay, so we're gonna take just a quick little stream break here, and be right back. Thanks, guys, for sticking through. and going to get these guys logged back in so we can talk a little bit more about the Kraken draft. I'm not muted.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
You know, sometimes when you do live streams outside, things happen, right?
Oh yeah.
So thanks for sticking through, guys. If you made it through the break there, Brandon's back. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Kraken draft and just a little bit of reaction, and trying to get Ty back online here too. But we're just going to keep rolling. So earlier, Brandon, I was talking with Ty about our center depth in general, and you know, it might be good to kind of go through that again. Some of the guys that may or may not end up, you know, sticking into the lineup or even with the organization going forward, right? So we've got just a depth, a wealth of centers now, and some of those fringe guys I would doubt are going to be back, right? So that first name, and you posted about this on Twitter, Ryan Donato. What are your thoughts there?
I mean, I'm a fan of his. I think he's just one of those guys that, you know, just works hard and is definitely not afraid to get down in the trenches and get a goal for you. But I don't know. I want him back, but
yeah, it just felt like a good fit, right?
Yeah, it just felt like, you know, he wants to be here, and I don't know. I think his thing was always he wants top 6 minutes, but he just could never find a home for that. And I don't know if it's here, just with the amount of, you know, guys that we're paying already, or if he's willing to take, you know, that third line role or whatever.
Yeah.
Just to be a part of the team.
Yeah, I mean, he may have to take some. He may have to, unfortunately, like you said, he's kind of bounced around trying to find a home. It did feel like a good fit, but all of a sudden now we've got all these guys kind of waiting in the wings. Young guys coming up, Matty Beniers, but Ty talked a little bit earlier. You know, Riley Shahan, Jaden Schwartz, Alex Winberg. Maybe these are pieces that you move for some late round picks or just to. I'm not really sure, but you also don't want to heap too much pressure on young guys right out of the gate, right, Ty? You kind of talked about this with, you don't want to see Shane Wright playing low line minutes, but you also don't want to put too much pressure on him at first if he's going to be up with the big club, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think there's many examples if you look back. I think Stammer was one that I most recently heard talk about it, kind of stunting his growth when he first started with the low minutes, sorry. And you get into Sheehan, he's kind of an interesting piece to the team where maybe he's not the offensive, you know, powerhouse by no means, but that dude is like the main piece of the penalty kill for a lot of minutes. I've never seen a player so good at wasting time with the puck.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want on the penalty kill, right?
Yeah. He does a fantastic job on the PK. And I think he's part of one of the reasons why we had, a decent penalty kill.
So maybe a little lighter topic here, real quick, Brandon, because this was a huge debate, and it's summertime now. And you brought this up on Twitter, the great Kraken fan ice cream debate, right? We had the chocolate chip mint versus, I don't know, was it versus anything, or was it just whether that was any good or not?
Man, I can't even remember.
The reason I'm bringing this up is because I just went to Seattle today, and I mean, I had the opportunity to go all in on some mint chocolate chip. If it was your day, Seattle waterfront, sunny outside, what kind of ice cream are you putting in a waffle cone? This is the hockey content people want.
I mean, mint chocolate chip does sound pretty good right now. And I was just having that conversation tonight because I don't have any ice cream in my house right now, so it's kind of disappointing. But yeah, I mean, I could go for some mint chocolate chip right now.
I'm a big popsicle guy too. I like the bomb, the rocket bomb popsicles and all that. Okay, all right. So let's talk. We had the schedule released too. I know you've had a chance to look at that a little bit. What are they've announced the theme nights too. I think you posted that on Twitter today as well. After the Kraken kind of announced that. Have you kind of scanned through it, Brandon? And what are some of your kind of schedule highlights that are popping out at you? Games you're definitely going to want to be in the building for?
To be honest, I haven't looked at it too deeply like that, but I did read a few articles about how, we don't have as many back-to-backs this season.
Right.
Someone posted some kind of graph about rest days in between games, and we're pretty high up there as far as having more rest days. It just seemed like the team was always on the move, and those East Coast trips can get pretty gnarly. But I mean, for the most part, I'm probably going to go to about, I don't know, 2 or 3 games a month, maybe. Definitely see teams that I didn't see last season, maybe. But
yeah, that's a good way to approach it.
Yeah.
There's that 6-game homestand there through November 8th through the 23rd. Nashville, Minnesota, Winnipeg, the Rangers, Los Angeles, and the Sharks capping that off. So that's going to be a great, couple weeks there through November to get out to a game. And that, like you said, that gnarly kind of East Coast that starts on the West Coast swing. They go 7 games between January 3rd all the way out to January 14th. So right after the turn of the new year there, they start out in Alberta up at Edmonton, and then it's East Coast, finish it in the Midwest there in Chicago. But that's gonna definitely test the team. You do like to see, I don't know, you see teams build chemistry a little bit, especially younger teams when they do those road swings kind of early in the year. But it's like it looks like a couple, games on the road to start things out, and then you're alternating, right? Like 3 at home, 2 on the road, 3 at home, 3 on the road, and then you get that big long homestand. Any of the theme nights kind of popping out at you at all?
I think I'm gonna make it a point to go to the what's it called? The Military Appreciation Night.
Yeah.
Just because
Veterans Day and Remembrance Day. Yeah.
And then
Definitely.
I'll probably, I want to go to a couple of those especially to get one of those pucks too. So
yeah, get that collector item.
Oh yeah.
So and also, I don't know if you want to drop any 32 crew news or anything like that. If you've got events coming down the line, it would be a good time to kind of throw that out there. If not, that's cool too, or maybe just thoughts or ideas you've got moving forward. But I kind of like to cross promote. And, my small following that I've got, make sure everybody is in the know about that. But, if you've got anything in that realm, I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, so the next thing I want to push before the season starts is to start implementing like a writing portion for the crew. So having a newsletter, pre-game, post-game stuff, updates on the prospects, whatever you want to talk about. So I think next week or the week after that, I'm going to put it out there that, if you want to join the team and become a contributor, if you love to write, if you're passionate about the Kraken, feel free to, I'll put the email in there. Just hit me up, and we'll talk about it. And it's open to anyone, even if you have your own website or your own podcast and you just want to contribute, and you can promote your stuff if you want or whatever. But I just want to get into that arena. And then we're gonna I think going forward, a portion of all of our sales, we're gonna pick a few organizations to support. So I'll be announcing who those are. What else? We got the new puck coming out for the new season.
Nice.
It's probably gonna be limited to like 200 to 250, just like the first one. And what else? I think we're talking about getting together for a summer barbecue still.
Okay.
So we'll see if that happens. Just to get
maybe a Mariners
again.
game or something.
Oh yeah, I'm down to go to a Mariners game.
I was telling Ty at the beginning of the stream, I told people I would update everybody on the Mariners score. If I don't want to spoil it for people, but to mute if you need to. But the Mariners did win tonight, 2-1 over the Blue Jays fans. I was down at the waterfront today with family and stuff. I couldn't believe how many Blue Jays fans were there, and that's too bad for them. They've lost 2 in a row now. So Brandon, again, I don't want to keep you real long. I know you've got stuff to do. I got to get packed up, and we're approaching 10 o'clock here. Ty, I do appreciate you logging in. Maybe we'll just kind of close things out unless you guys got some additional things you want to add. But I do want to hear Brandon's thoughts on free agency just a little bit more. We talked about, Nichushkin, he's off the table. Holtby is probably not going to be back. We had the Philip Forsberg signing in Nashville. Johnny Gaudreau is still out there. Ty and I kind of feel, what were you saying, Ty? You're kind of feeling like it's too soon for something like that. Maybe you could emphasize what your thoughts were, and then Brandon, you could follow that up with kind of where you want to see the Kraken go in free agency, and then maybe I'll make my splash in the pool and we'll call it a night.
I mean, what I said was basically we need another year to kind of get things established, get these systems and all that stuff figured out before I think we're ready to make a big splash. I mean, we have the money, and maybe it's burning a hole in some people's pockets, but it's not burning a hole in my pocket. If we can find a smart free agent that's not, a mega deal, I'm all about it. But I'm not ready yet. Let's wait till we need a 500 season or something. Like let's win some hockey games and have some stable play and stuff like that before we're worried about signing away, who knows, 9 for 9 for Johnny or something like that. Like,
right.
That's a lot.
It would be great, but I just don't think we're there yet. But
they sell jerseys, but we don't have a problem
for
with that.
Sure. Oh yeah. So I don't know, Brandon, if you want to follow that up, we kind of get last word here, and then we'll close things out.
Yeah, I agree. I think for the most part, I've been on the marathon theme where, I mean, yes, it'd be fun and great to sign someone like Johnny, but I don't know, to sign someone to a big deal like that, 7, 8, 9 years is like, it's a big commitment. And I think the team, even before the expansion draft, they had a plan. It was quite obvious what the plan was, and I think they're going to stick to it. Especially with getting Shane right now, it's, we got the middle locked up for, everyone says the next decade, and let's just take it slow, build the prospect pool, see what guys come up, the next 2-3 years. And I think Coach Haxtell won't be here for much longer. And the whole culture would change. I'm still looking at the 2023-2024 season as maybe like, okay, they're going to take the next step here. Yeah. And I think even if they if they sniff the playoffs this season, they finish, not last in the Pacific, then I'm good with it. I mean, the expectations, we have to be realistic about it and see what I think some players are going to be traded at the deadline this year, just to clear more cap space and
Yeah.
all that. And
And
like
you've got
Ty
a lot of
said,
pieces to do so, right?
oh yeah, like Ty said, I think they'll probably sign some third line guys, or maybe, I don't know, just to fill in, some depth, but that's about it. But to make a big commitment right now, I don't think that's the right way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely kind of want to echo that. That's my thinking. I've said it a few times here on Twitter. The slow burn. I would like to see something done to bolster the D a little bit. Potentially,
Right.
like we've talked about, maybe bring goalie in to help out, not put as much pressure on Joey. I guess we'll have to kind of see what happens there. But guys, again, I just want to say thanks a lot. This is a lot of fun for me to do. I really appreciate you guys dropping by. It's not, I'm not the big glitzy, glamoury channel on the internet, but I do appreciate, kind of being a part of this community, building the friendships with you guys. It's been a lot of fun, and I cannot wait for year 2. So thanks again. Really appreciate it. I think we got close to 10 likes, Ty.
I see 10 on my screen.
Do you?
Yeah.
So I told him coming in, if we got to like 10 or 15 likes, I would jump in the pool here. So yeah, I think we're gonna just like log out. I'll just kind of jump into the pool, and you guys can hop off of here whenever you want. But if you want to stick around and see that, just do that. Maybe it'll be like a little extra content we can throw out there at some point. But thanks again, guys. I really appreciate you dropping by tonight, and have a good trip, Brandon. Ty, we'll talk again soon. Okay.
Yep, sounds good.
All right, cool.
I appreciate
Put a
it.
little music on here, and I'm gonna jump in the pool.
Travel safe.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. So thanks again, everybody, for dropping by. We're going to close things out. Will, Noel, Michael, Burton up there, Ty, of course, and Brandon for dropping into the stream. Really appreciate it, guys. So let's close this out. Put a little music on, and I'm out of here. I'm going to be flying out of the country, and I'll be back in a few weeks. Got an update coming. Maybe some more live streams. We'll see. But now it's time to hold up my end of the bargain. We got to close to 10 likes. I think it was, well, yeah, Ty said 10. So here we go. I'm going to jump off of the bench over there. I don't know if you can see it, but this will be the end of the stream. We'll catch you later on another live stream here at Sasquatch NHL. Thanks again, guys.